Lights, camera, and action. Good morning. How we doing, everybody? I'm here to give you a full demonstration of a pre-trip. Basically, trying to let you know and show you exactly what your examiners will be looking for as you do your pre-trip. Now, you're responsible to touch and identify every item and every part that you can on this pre-trip inspection. So you're going to get your hands dirty and you're going to get your clothes nasty. But here we go. We're going to start off. First thing you would like to start off with is the front of your vehicle. You're going to look and check for leaks, puddles, and dripping fluid on the ground, under the engine, and the underside of the engine and the transmission. After that, you're going to check all your lights. All your lights. Your headlights and your reflectors and your clearance lights. You want to make sure they're clean, not missing, not broken, and proper color. Now, take the time to unlock the hood and open it up. As I work my way around here to this exhaust system. Here's my exhaust system. My exhaust system, you want to make sure it's connected tightly, it's mounted securely, has no loose clamps. You want to check for damage, signs of leaking, such as rust or carbon soot. It has no cracks, holes, or severe dents, and you must follow this exhaust system to the turbo. After that, I would like to check my engine hose. My engine hoses, they're not cracked, worn, frayed, or leaking. After that, I like to check my alternator. My alternator is securely mounted. All my wires are securely fastened, and it's belt driven. Belt is not frayed, no visible cracks, no loose fibers, no signs of wear. If I push belt with hand and it deflects more than a half or 3/4 of an inch, it is excessive. My belt is snug. After that, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna start with my water pump. Check my water pump. This is my water pump. My water pump is mounted properly, it's not loose, and it's not leaking. And it's also belt driven. Belt is not frayed, no visible cracks, no loose fibers, no signs of wear. If I push this belt with hand and it deflects more than a half or 3/4 of an inch, it is excessive. My belt is snug. After that, I like the time to go ahead and check my oil. Check my oil to make sure it's above the refill mark and in a safe operating range. Now I would like to check my power steering pump, which is right here behind this frame. My power steering pump is securely mounted, it's not leaking, and it's gear driven. I like to check my air compressor, which is right here. It's also securely mounted, not leaking, and it's gear driven. After that, I like to check my coolant. I want to make sure my coolant is at an adequate level. I like to check my engine hose. I'm going to check for conditions and leaks. I like to check my power steering fluid. I'm going to check the sight glass for proper level and make sure it's above the refill mark. After that, I like to check my steering box and my hoses. My steering box is securely mounted. It's not leaking. There's no loose or missing nuts and bolts. And my steering hose is not damaged or it's not leaking. After that, I like to check my steering links. My connecting arm, rod, and link from the steering box to the wheel are not worn or cracked. My joint and my socket is not worn or loose, and there's no loose or missing nut, bolt, and cotter pin. After that, I do my spring mounts and my spring hanger. These are my spring mounts, and this is my spring hanger. My bracket, bolt, and my bushes are in place. There's no crack or broken spring hanger, and there's no missing or damaged bushes. After that, I check my leaf spring. My leaf spring is not missing, shifted, cracked, or broken. Now I check my U-bolt. There's no broken, loose, or missing bolt, including my U-bolt. My shock absorber is securely mounted and is not leaking. My brake hose and my brake lines are not cracked, worn, or frayed. All my couplings and fittings are secure. It's not leaking and it can supply air. My brake chamber, which is right here, is securely mounted. It's not leaking, it has no cracks or dents, and no loose or missing clamps. My slack adjuster and my push rod is securely mounted. My slack adjuster and push rod has no bent, broken, loose, or missing parts. And if the brakes were released and pulled by hand, push rod shouldn't move no more than approximately 1 inch. After that, I like to take my brake drum and my brake linings. My brake drum and liner has no crack, holes, or dents, no loose or missing bolts. My brake liners are not worn dangerously thin, and my brake drum and my brake liner has no contaminants such as grease and oil. Now I like to start on my tire. First thing I would like to check is my tire tread depth. My tread depth should be a minimum of 430 seconds. After that, I like to check my condition. My tread is evenly worn. There's no cuts or damage to my tread and to my sidewall. My valve cap is still. It's not missing, damaged, or broken. And if I want to check proper inflation, I do so by using the tire gauge. My rim is not damaged or bent, and it shouldn't have any welding repairs. And there's no rust trails that indicate that my rim is loose from the wheel. I like to check all my lug nuts. All lug nuts are present, not loose. There's no rust trails around the nuts. There's no cracks radiating from the lug bolt holes, and there's no distortion of the bolt holes. My hub bar seal. Bar should be at adequate level, and it's not leaking. After that, I like to go ahead and get this turn signal. Turn signal and clearance light. Make sure it's clean, not missing, not broken, and proper color. After that, I like to check my door, mirrors, and mirror brackets. My internal, external mirror brackets are securely mounted. It's not damaged. My mirror is free of excessive dust. My door is not damaged. It opens and closes properly. My hinges are secure, and my seal is intact. While I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this baggage. Check my feet. When you're checking your feet, you want to make sure you grab your fire extinguisher and actually look at your fire extinguisher. You should have a properly secured and properly charged fire extinguisher. After that, I want to make sure I have 3 warning reflector triangles. And I also want to make sure I have spare electrical fuses. Now I like to take my fuel tank. My fuel tank is secure, and my cap is tight. And there's no leaks from my fuel tank and from my fuel cap. After that, I like to start this clearance light. My clearance light is clean, not missing, not broken, and it's proper color. My header is secure, it's strong enough to contain cargo, free of damage, and no missing ribbons. My air connectors are sealed and in good condition, and my glad hands are locked in place and free of damage. My electrical connector is firmly seated and is locked in place on both my truck and my trailer. After that, I'll do my air lines and my electrical lines. My air lines and electrical lines are not crimped, cracked, chafed, taped, tangled, bent, spliced, or worn. My electrical insulation is not cut, and it's not dragging on the tractor. After that, I like to check my catwalk and my step. My catwalk and step is solid, it's securely bolted to the tractor frame, and it's free of loose objects. Now I like to check my tractor frame. There's no cracks or bends in my longitudinal frame member, and there's no bent, broken, cracked, loose, or missing cross members. Now I like to check my drive shaft. This is my drive shaft. My drive shaft should be bent, twisted, or cracked. My U-joints appear to be secure, and it's free of foreign objects. My torque arm torsion bar is securely mounted and not damaged. While I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and check my brake hoses. My brake hoses are not cracked, worn or frayed. All my couplings and fittings are secure. It's not leaking, and it can supply air. I'm gonna go ahead and check my brake chamber, which is right here. My brake chamber is securely mounted. It's not leaking. It has no cracks or dents, and it also has no loose or missing clamps. My slack adjuster push rod, which is right behind my brake chamber, is securely mounted. My slack adjuster and my push rod has no bent, broken, loose, or missing parts. And if the brakes were released and pulled by hand, my push rod shouldn't move no more than approximately 1 inch. After that, I like to check my spring mount and my spring hangers, which is back here in this area back there. My spring attachments, my brackets, bolts, and bushings are in place. My spring hanger is not cracked or broken, and there's no missing or damaged bushings. I like to check my leaf spring. My leaf spring is not missing, shifted, cracked, or broken. My U-bolts, there's no broken, loose, or missing bolt, including my U-bolts. My shock absorber is securely mounted and it's not leaking. My brake drum and lining, has no cracks, holes, or dents, no loose or missing bolts. My brake liners are not worn, dangerous thin. And my brake drum and my brake liner has no contaminants such as grease and oil. I go ahead and check my buzz space. My wheels are evenly spaced. It's not damaged. And it's free of foreign objects. Now I start with my tire grip. First thing I like to do is check my tread depth. My tread depth should be a minimum of 230 seconds back here. My tire condition, my tread is evenly worn. There's no cuts or damage to the tread and to the sidewall. My valve cap is still. It's not missing, damaged, or broken. And if I want to check my proper inflation, I do so by using the tire gauge. My rim is not damaged or bent. It shouldn't have any welding repairs. And there's no rust tread indicating that my rim is loose from the wheel. All my lug nuts are present. They're not loose. There's no rust treads around my nuts. There's no cracks radiating from the lug bolt holes, and there's no distortion of the bolt holes. My axle seal is not leaking. After that, I come right behind here, and I start with my air mounts. I got my airbag mount bolts. I got a bolt at the top, and I got a bolt at the bottom. You must touch and identify both of them. My airbag mount bolts are in place, and they're not damaged. My airbag is not damaged and it's not leaking. Next, I start with my cover. My apron is not bent, cracked, or broken. My gap, my trailer is laying flat on my fifth wheel skid plate, and there's no space in between my apron and my fifth wheel skid plate. My fifth wheel skid plate is properly lubricated. It's securely mounted to this platform, and all my bolts and pins are secure and not missing. My release arm and my safety latch. My release arm is secure. It's all the way in. It's in the engaged position, and my safety latch is in place. My platform. There's no cracks or breaks to my platform structure, which supports my fifth wheel skid plate. All my mounting bolts. There's no loose or missing nuts, bolts, brackets, and clamps, and both my fifth wheel and my slide mount appear to be solidly attached in place. My sliding fifth wheel. There's no leaks in my airlines. There's no loose or missing pins in the slide mechanism of the sliding fifth wheel. My locking pins are fully engaged. And my fifth wheel is in the proper position so that my tractor frame will clear my landing gear during turns. Now I covered all that. Now we go back here. First thing I like to start with is my kingpin. My lock and jaw holds my kingpin in place, and my kingpin is not bent or damaged. After that, I'll check my lock and jaw. My lock and jaw is secure around the kingpin. Now I like to check all my lights, my reflectors, and my reflector tape. All my lights are clean, not missing, not broken, in proper color. My reflectors are clean, with none missing and none broken. And my DOT reflector tape is present and it's securely affixed to my vehicle. My mud flaps, splash guard, is securely mounted and it's not damaged. that, I'll go ahead and check the frame of my trailer. There's no cracks or bends in my longitudinal frame member, and there's no bent, broken, cracked, loose, or missing cross members. And there's no breaks or holes in my box and in my trailer floor. I'd like to go ahead and check my landing gear. My landing gear is fully raised, has no missing parts. My crank handle is secure, and my support frame and my landing pad is not damaged. After that, I'll go ahead and check my DOT reflector tape. My DOT reflector tape on my trailer is present and is securely affixed to the vehicle. My turn signal, clearance lights are clean, not missing, not broken, and proper cover. And my DOT reflector tape is present and is securely affixed to the vehicle. Now I'd like to get in here. And now first thing I'm gonna start with is my tandem release. My tandem release arm. My locking pins are locked in place, and my tandem release arm is secure. I'd like to go ahead and check my spring mount and my spring hanger. My brackets, bolts, and bushings are in place. There's no crack or broken spring hangers, and there's no missing or damaged bushings. I'd like to go ahead and check my leaf spring. My leaf spring is not missing, shifted, cracked, or broken. I'd like to check my U-bolts. My U-bolts, there's no broken, loose, or missing bolt, including my U-bolts. My tuck arm is securely mounted and it is not damaged. After that, I'll check my brake drum and lining. My brake drum and lining has no cracks, holes, or dents. There's no loose or missing bolts. My brake liners are not worn dangerously thin, and my brake drum and my brake liner has no contaminants such as grease and oil. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and check my bud spacing. My wheels and tires are evenly spaced. It's not damaged, and it's free of foreign objects. I'll come back here and check my tire again on my trailer. My tread depth should be a minimum of 2/32 also. My tire condition. My tread is evenly worn. There's no cuts or damage to my tread and to my sidewall. My valve cap is still. It's not missing, damaged, or broken. And if I wanted to check the proper inflation, I'll do so by using the tire gauge. My rim is not damaged or bent, and it shouldn't have any welding repairs. And there's no rust trails indicating that my rim is loose from the wheel. All my lug nuts are present. They're not loose, and there's no rust trails around my nuts. There's no cracks radiating from the lug bolt holes, and there's no distortion of the bolt holes. My hub bar seal should be at adequate, all is at adequate level, and it's also not leaking. After that, I'm going ahead and check this door tie. My door tie should be secure. Now, I actually come back here because I am responsible to touch and identify all the items. Back here in the back of this trailer is where I can come and touch my slack adjuster how I need to. So I do all this back here. My brake hoses are not cracked, worn, or frayed. All my couplings and fittings are secure. It's not leaking, and it can supply air. My brake chamber is securely mounted. It's not leaking. It has no cracks or dents, and no loose or missing clips. My slack adjuster and push rod is securely mounted. Slack adjuster and push rod has no bent, broken, loose, or missing parts. And if the brakes were released and pulled by hand, my push rod should move no more than approximately 1 inch. I like to go ahead and take my mud flaps splash guard. Make sure it's securely mounted and it's not damaged. The first thing I like to check back here is my doors and hinges. My door and my hinges. My door and hinges are not damaged. My door opens, closes, and latches properly. And my door ties are secure. All my lights, clearance lights, turn signals, tail lights, clean.